Hello friends, welcome back to Shelby on Safari. Today's safari is going to take us back into the world of Marvel Comics because we are going to discover what real-life Falcon is like the Falcon. Because I am so looking forward to March 19th when The Falcon and the Winter Solider is released on Disney+. But today is going to be a little bit different than my previous animal superhero comparison videos because I'm not going to tell you which species I think he's most like. Oh no friends, I'm going to introduce you to 3 different species of falcon and then you are going to choose which one you think he's most like. So you ready? Join the safari and let's get started. So first, a bit of introduction to Sam Wilson, aka the Falcon. He was first introduced in Captain America number 117 back in September 1969. Sam Wilson had a difficult childhood. He grew up in a tough neighborhood in Harlem. His dad, who was a minister, was killed trying to stop a fight, and his mom was murdered. Although Sam did try to do the best thing, eventually his grief and his anger overwhelmed him, and he eventually started working for the mob under the name of Snap Wilson. On an assignment, Sam's plane crashed on a remote island in the Caribbean, but Sam wasn't alone on this island, aptly named Exile. Red Skull and his henchmen were there, and also, oddly enough, Captain America. Red Skull used the cosmic cube on Sam in the hopes of using him as a pawn to defeat Captain America. But instead, Snap Wilson was reverted into Sam, and Sam was given the ability to communicate with birds telepathically, which seems rather convenient as Sam had brought a falcon with him to the island known as Redwing. So Sam has a telepathic link with birds. As if that wasn't cool enough, he can even extend this ability to see through the eyes of birds. And in some instances, he's even been shown to be able to control birds as well. But it's not all about birds. Sam has plenty more to offer as an Avenger, which, speaking of which, I'm wearing my awesome Avengers jacket. I love it. Thanks, Donna. So these other abilities of Sam Wilson that can possibly help us weave which species of falcon is most like the falcon are that he is a master martial artist. After extensive training, he is also considered to be in the peak of human conditioning, both in terms of strength and endurance. He also has impressive leadership skills in terms of both being a tactician and strategist, and also being quite nifty with using Cap's shield. Spoilers for the end of Infinity War when he is indeed past the shield of good old Cap. But the ability that stands out most in terms of him being the Falcon and relating it to a real-life animal is of course his skills both in terms of flight and being an aerialist. Speaking of flight, let's take a closer look into the Falcon's wings. So according to the official Marvel handbook, Falcon's first set of wings, the original jet-powered ones, allowed him to fly at speeds of up to 250 miles per hour. Just imagine how much faster he must have gone when the Black Panther created a new costume and wings for him. My goodness. The Falcon also has an impressive wingspan of up to 50 feet. That's a whole lot more than any of the 3 species we will be meeting, that's for sure. One feature of the Falcon's wings that I wish our real-world Falcons had is a vibranium microweave that makes Sam Wilson resistant to fire from small arms. 2 other attributes of the Falcon that are similar to our real-life Falcons are, well, that he has a talon, whereas normal falcons have 2. But anyways, this one talon that he has is cybernetically controlled, and he's used it to entangle opponents or hook objects, even for swinging and climbing when his wings are detached. That's a pretty useful talon. A special aspect of the Falcon's costume is his visor, because it has infrared lenses which allow him to see heat signatures at night, amongst many other things. Alright, now that we have a brief introduction into Sam Wilson, now let's meet the contenders for which real-life Falcon is most like the Falcon. In the family Falconidae, There are almost 60 different species of birds in this group. But then let's narrow it down to the true falcons in the genus Falco. Even here, there are more than 35 different species, so narrowing it down to just 3 has been rather difficult. So first up is the ever-impressive Peregrine Falcon. Like Sam, this falcon too had a rough past. Populations of peregrine falcons were driven to the brink of extinction because of the persistent organic pollutant known as DDT, which caused their eggshells to be thinner. And so when they'd go to sit and incubate on them, they would smush. Luckily, swift action was taken, and in 1973 they were listed as an endangered species, and work began in earnest in reducing DDT, which led to populations like the peregrine falcons in Alaska to make a strong recovery, especially since the 1980s. And like Sam Wilson, they too have speed and aerial skills. It is estimated that the speed of a peregrine falcon diving can be more than 200 miles per hour. This makes it the fastest bird in the world. However, compared to Sam Wilson's wingspan of up to 50 feet, their wingspan is only about 40 inches. And we saw how Sam has a few different tools on his face to help him do cool falcony things. The peregrine falcon, though, has one nifty thing in their nostrils. They have a series of baffles in their nostrils to help them breathe when they're doing those fierce dives of up to 200 miles per hour. So we've met the peregrine falcon. Let's meet falcon number 2. Well, technically 3, because we met Sam Wilson first. Meet the red-headed falcon. There are 2 different populations of this species, one found in India and the other in Africa. I chose this falcon to give homage, to give, oh dear. I chose this falcon to pay homage, that's such a fun word to say, to falcon's first companion, Redwing. This falcon is indeed a bit smaller and nowhere near the same wingspan as previously seen. Their wingspan is only 55 to 69 centimeters in length. And as is true with most falcon species, the female is actually larger, about 10% larger than the males. And again, this species of falcon is an incredible aerialist. For getting their grub depends on it, for they feed on bats and other birds that they catch in midair. Although they're not afraid to take things onto the ground, for they even eat large insects that they get from the ground as well. My other main reason for choosing the red-necked falcon as an option for being the real-life counterpart of the falcon is because they like to hunt in pairs, which made me think of Falcon and Captain's relationship, where they often were partnered together to fight crime and save the world, whereas the red-necked falcons pair together to eat and survive. But they hunt strategically, like Cap and Falcon, for one of them flies low above the ground to scare and flush up any small birds that are hiding in, say, like bushes, while the other is higher and catches those small birds that have been scared up. Off or up. Off. There we are. This species of falcon, though, is more keen to dash after prey than it is to dive upon them. So do you think it still makes a good contender? Let's move on to the 3rd and final species of falcon that I think could represent Sam Wilson. This is the prairie. I chose the wrong bird. This is the prairie falcon. Similar size of the peregrine, but they are very different. Whereas the peregrines prefer to dive bomb their prey, the prairie falcon likes to mix things up and hunts in a variety of different ways. They too will dive upon their prey, but also show off their acrobatic skills by pursuing small prey along the ground. They will fly low to the ground, but certainly fast, to take prey by surprise. This large species of falcon is found in the arid west of North America. But the west isn't always hot. In the wintertime, it can get quite gnarly. But they too, like Sam Wilson, are tough cookies. You know that pesticide I mentioned when it came to peregrine falcons, DDT? Well, even though the Prairie Falcon would be susceptible to the effects of DDT, and in fact they did suffer some loss because of it, it wasn't nearly as great as the Peregrine Falcon or the Merlin, because the Prairie Falcon tends to have a more mammal-based diet, like squirrels, whereas the Peregrine Falcon tend to eat other birds. But I'll be honest, the main reason why I chose the Prairie Falcon is because of something that's been seen in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and hopefully more so in the Falcon and Winter Soldier series on Disney+. Falcon's playful side. Well, his sense of humor, I suppose. Especially that banter with Bucky. I love it, and I'm here for it, and I can't wait to see more of it. But the Prairie Falcon, too, has a playful side. They've been seen dropping dried cow manure, of all things, in midair and then diving to catch it. Could this be a way to practice their coordination skills? I certainly hope Sam doesn't practice his coordination skills like this. I'm sure at the Avengers campus he must have other ways to practice his diving and aerialist skills and things like that. Hopefully he doesn't use cow manure. That'd be kind of weird. Well, Avengers, now the choice is up to you. Which of the 3 species of falcon that I introduced you to today do you think is most like Falcon, aka Sam Wilson? Is it the Peregrine Falcon? The Red-Necked Falcon? Or the Prairie Falcon? Be sure to let me know in the comments below which one you chose and why. And after you've done that, be sure to check out my other pulp culture superhero animal video comparisons by clicking the playlist right here. Or better yet, just head over directly to meet the next Avenger, Thor, and seeing how he's like a polar bear. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.